Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is here to do the same.
Welcome, hoodies. Thanks for tuning in so we can help you tune up.
I'm Chris Carter here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. Remember, you can call that number 24 hours a day, too. You won't get an answer 24 hours a day.
But if you leave your phone number, you'll get an answer because we'll call you back.
We'll have you on the show like Tony in Georgia. Tony, you're on the Under the Hood Show. What can we do for you?
How you guys doing? I wondered if you could settle a question that's in my mind that I've been thinking about for years. I have an '09 Ram 1500, and, the value of these trucks, the brand I have, drops the fastest of any of them. And so when you're buying a used truck, I was able to get it very low mileage when I bought it 10 years ago. You guys have helped me fix a million things on this truck. But the question I want you guys to help me with is everyone online says that, the Toyota Tundra is the best half-ton truck that there is. And, same mileage used, they cost about double maybe what mine is. And so I was wondering, are they really that much better? What makes them really better? Are they more reliable? I have this question in my mind. Are they worth double, what some of the other brands are?
Before we answer that question, Tony, I just want to say, he said he wanted to know if we could answer a question in his mind. Shannon, if Russ could just answer the question in his mind without Tony speaking it, would you be surprised?
No,
you'd be like, oh yeah, that's just the next evolution for Russ.
But wouldn't it be boring though? Because then the listeners wouldn't hear his question.
He did tell us the question.
Right.
And I really didn't expect it to be a brand loyalty question.
The Under the Hood Show just answers no questions. Only we know. We'll give you the answer. You decide what the question is.
You like Johnny Carson.
Right.
The great
car neck.
Yeah.
This would be truck neck.
We could do another segment.
Question.
They were onto something. And,
I think
there's
so.
A big chunk of our audience knew exactly what we were talking about, and another chunk said, what are they talking about?
Another chunk said, who is Johnny Carson?
That's what I mean. What are they talking about? I always get not stumped, but just challenged when people ask these questions. But I will say, historically for us, in our business, in our region, we have had more longevity out of Toyota Tundras than we have Ram pickups. And when you looked at in that era, they came out with the Tundra, the big new heavy duty, we're building it in Texas, get out of the way, this is the next big thing, Tundra in '07. And I think I got that right, don't I? '07 was that first year of that big bad Tundra. And they advertised how much bigger their brake rotors were, and they advertised how much heavier duty their axle shafts were. And they made a marketing campaign out of being the truck that beats the trucks that are there now. And they were moving to Texas. And so, they took a big swing at the market, and they did pretty well. And so I have tons and tons of friends with the Rams. Not as many with the Tundras because they just didn't sell quite as many. But the Ram has been sold and sold and sold, and we see a lot of them in the market, and they overall, in our market, if they don't rust out, people will end up putting a transmission in every once in a while. They end up, when they get into the newer Hemi stuff, there'll be some upper valve train problems, valve problems that'll pop up. There's things like that. Some electrical gremlins you'll get in some Chryslers that you don't get in the Tundras as often. But I know the one for the radio station has fought an evap problem that has been a pain in the butt.
I got one at the shop right now. That one's fixed, but I got one at the shop right now for this same problem.
It's a Tundra we're talking about.
It's going to be like $1,800.
But that's a problem that we don't see in the Rams.
No, because they don't have it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great point.
They don't have the air pump under there.
Yeah, that's one less sophistication they don't have. But the Tundra is doing that because they're making their whatever effort towards a cleaner burn on what comes out the tailpipe. So I'm not going to answer that question with a strong answer, but I would say that historically from that era, if you took '07 to now, the Tundra's been more reliable. but they sold a bunch
And
more Rams,
Mhm.
and they've got their warts, but there's a lot of them on the road yet, and they just keep on going.
So does the Toyota not have the 4-cylinder shutoff thing, or do they do a different strategy towards that? You know what I mean?
I've never seen it. Maybe they do, but I've never seen it. We don't have a problem with it if there is one.
But if the other brands were mandated to figure that out,
No, they weren't. They weren't mandated.
Yeah,
They weren't mandated. They were required to lower emissions and lower
Corporate average fuel economy.
Yeah, lower get those fuel economy numbers up.
And they sold all kinds of trucks, and so they had to work on the truck fleet. So if they can save a half mile per gallon on trucks, and they sell 1 million trucks, that was
Toyota,
easier to lower the corporate average fuel economy that way than changing the horsepower on the Viper
I suppose.
Yep, and Toyota has a Prius.
Was Ram part of Dodge under that?
Oh,
Are
yeah.
they under part of
Stellantis
Stellantis
all the same
under
company.
that? Right.
Yeah, but see,
brand.
Toyota has way more cars
Yeah.
and way more hybrid cars.
Yeah.
Cars getting 40, 50 miles per gallon. Then you get into, let's just look at GM. We got Suburbans, we got Escalades, we got Tahoes, we got Yukons, we got Sierra pickups, we got Silverado pickups, we've got full-size vans. I mean, you put all those in there and you're like, your economy's not doing so good.
Their trend line's a little bit different than Toyota's.
Yeah.
Stellantis had the Charger,
the
Challenger, and the 300.
Yeah,
not super good on the gas.
They're running commercials of people drifting in the parking lots.
Right.
Doesn't Stellantis sounds more like a fine wine than a car company? Like, would you like the Stellantis or the J-Lore? I'll have the Stellantis, please. No, buy J-Lore. What are you talking about?
Does that help you out there, Tony? Not really, right?
It does a lot. And I mean, kind of, sort of. But
Perfect.
I guess I just trying to figure out, just trying to settle that in my mind. Like, hey, are they really that much better? And I'm not talking about the new twin turbo ones. I know they've had some issues with the new Toyota twin turbo ones, which I think they're getting that figured out. But yeah, I guess that's just a question in my mind because people say they're twice as good. Are they just 10% better, or like, are they actually?
I'll go back and repeat. I'll repeat a little bit what I said. In that era, Toyota came out swinging.
Mm-hmm.
Their new truck, they were going to beat what was out there then, and they went heavy duty on it. They started raising the bar on towing capacities, and that whole truck race got a new competitor when Toyota entered the market, and when Toyota gets into a market, they typically change the game.
And Rams, the 1500, for the last few years, at least 3-4, they've been the truck of the year. That's always on the reviews where they go head to head to head. That one's won as the best.
If you look at the current.
Right. Yeah. So there you go. Tony, thanks very much for the call. 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show. We're going to take a break. We'll be back.
Three friends talking cars. You decide if they know what they're talking about. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here. Let's talk to Kadeen in Florida. You're on the Under the Hood Show. What can we do for you? Oh, wait, I have to push the button. I didn't do that yet. Now we're talking to you. What can we do for you?
Hey, how you doing?
Fantastic.
My name's Kadeen. I'm from Florida. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Cool,
Right.
thank you.
I'm calling about my 09 Chevy Tahoe. I've had this truck for, I say 8 months now, and I've been having this. Well, at first it was intermediate, where my transmission only works in manual. Well, now the problem is, the fluid is correct, the fluid isn't burned, it doesn't have a burning smell, my transmission doesn't overheat. But now it only works in, like, if I put it in drive, if I go over 5 miles per hour, it goes back into neutral. But if I put it in manual in one, it'll drive. And if I shift it manually with the I guess it's like a toggle switch, the plus and the minus switch on the
paddles?
gear shift stick.
Oh, on the
Yeah.
thing. Okay.
not the paddle, like
Yeah,
just say
I
when
gotcha.
you use the stick to put the car in
Yep.
drive.
Uh-huh.
Little thumb
Yeah,
switch.
it's a plus and a minus. Yes, exactly. It's like a toggle switch on there. And if I switch the gears, let my foot off the gas and switch it in 2, it'll drive. And I put it all the way to 6, it'll drive all the way through the gear. But as soon as I get back to a light and it's still in 6, if I go over 5 miles an hour, it goes back into neutral until I go back into 1. It's basically like a stick shift.
I can tell you, it's broken.
Yeah, it's broken.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
That's-
Thanks
that-
very much for the call.
That's what he called
Good luck.
for, Chris, right there.
Yep.
He's a longtime listener. He's impressed with what we do, and he wants to
Uh-huh.
call in for us to tell him, yep, it's broken.
Yeah.
Well, for one, if you've manually toggled up into 6th gear and you leave it there and you get to a stoplight, that transmission is not going to allow you to go in 6th gear
No, it'll move down.
because that's going to break things.
If everything were working perfect and he was just choosing manual and left it in 6th gear, it would
It goes
would-
back to first
right.
when you
It
stop.
would go on its own.
Yep.
It's not doing that.
Because otherwise, you're going to ruin that transmission if it would stay in 6th gear. There's just not enough strength in that gear to take off from a stoplight.
It lets you move up to the highest gear possible for the speed you're traveling, and to the lowest gear
Exactly.
possible for the speed you're traveling. So if it's doing weird stuff like that, either something in the transmission is stuck, and it can't go where you manually move it to, so it defaults back to automatic shifting, which is possible, and the automatic shifting part could be broken because you've got stuck valves, so it's not shifting up and down like it's supposed to, so then it does all sorts of weird stuff. Or you've got a programming issue where the computer's failed, there's a wiring issue, or it's just in the software and it's not allowing it to do what it's supposed to. I got a feeling you got something going on in the transmission where a valve or something's hanging up, so when you drive it, it's not shifting automatically. It can't. Let's say it commands 2nd gear and says, it's not there. So let's go back. Let's try a different gear, and we don't have enough speed to go into 3rd, so we got to go back. But if you try it manually, you can override that for a minute because of the speed you're going, but then it won't let you shift anymore because it's, like I said, it needs to see a certain road speed to be able to select those.
And you said the fluid's not burnt and it's at the right level, and you have probably and you have not flushed it, correct? It's the same fluid as when you bought it?
Sir. Same fluid as when I bought it, yes, sir.
Okay, and did you buy this privately, or did you buy it from a dealer, or where'd you acquire it?
I bought it privately. I actually bought this truck for my brother,
Okay, and your brother,
and he had it maybe 4 years,
Okay.
and it had a bad lifter, so he got the engine, the top end rebuilt, and the truck sat for a while.
Older or younger
I
brother?
have my older brother. I'm the baby.
Yeah, you're okay. He can't do. I mean, he can't do he can't go beat him up. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
I don't.
If
I
he
don't
were a
know
young-
because I've been driving this truck for 8 months and it's been having this problem. And I tell you no lie. I mean, I don't have the funds to fix it right now. I just wanted to know what the problem is because I've been driving this truck 8 months, no problem. The fluid looks perfect. It doesn't burn. It just doesn't shift gears. I have to shift it manually.
okay, here's a theory, and I don't know what Russ is thinking. This is what I'm thinking. This truck transmission worked good when your older brother had it. You like your older brother, right? You're all good with each other?
Oh yeah. For
Okay,
sure.
all right. So he's not trying to stick it to his little brother. We got that
No, he ain't
established.
trying to stick to it. I mean, I got a great deal for it.
Okay.
So I'm not complaining.
Okay, so the fluid is not burned up, and somebody didn't do a emergency flush on it before they sold it, so it's the same fluid, and it's not burned.
We don't know if we have any codes.
Yeah,
If it's got a throttle position code, that'll do it too.
Yeah, I would have gave you guys a code because I had the paper in my glove compartment, but I cleaned my truck out and I removed all those papers when I went to AutoZone and got it plugged in.
So there is a
It was
code?
giving me all type of yes, there's all type of transmission codes, but it's saying that everything is stuck open or stuck closed.
Okay, if you've got
we got.
You
hope-
should have mentioned that before now.
No, but we should
I'm
ask.
so
We should ask too. But the story's too good. But the there's hope here that this transmission's still good.
yeah, it sounds like you may have a wiring problem. If you got open solenoids, we're good.
Yeah, and
I remember. I don't exactly remember what the codes were, But there were transmission codes, and they were saying that a valve open/closed, stuck open/closed, or something. I can't remember.
Did he take the engine out of the vehicle when you guys fixed the lifter, or did you do it in chassis?
I don't know. I have to ask him that.
If the engine had been out of the vehicle, I would go back and double check all the ground wires on the back side of the bell housing. Just make sure everything is wired back the way it's supposed to be factory if that engine happened to be out of the vehicle. And even if they took the heads off, they would have unplugged harnesses and stuff. Make sure nothing got pinched. Make sure there's nothing that go to the areas that were affected by a human and make sure there's no human problems. Then the fact that this thing sat for a while, it sounds like you said it sat for a while. Then
sat for maybe 2 years.
Yeah, there's a good possibility too that things could just be stuck.
He's in Florida.
Yeah.
A gator could have got under there and nibbled on the wires. I mean,
Little gator gecko something. Yep. But
a gecko.
115,000 miles for this 09.
That's good miles. That's really good miles, and it's probably in good shape coming from down there. But you're going to have to enlist somebody that can diagnose those codes. You're going to have check the wiring and get that all looked over. And then it might be such a thing that if it's not electrical, but it sounds like it is, but it could be something stuck that's triggering electrical because it's sat. And then you might want to run a detergent through there or a cleaner or that sort of thing. But I wouldn't do that until I've had it inspected electrically and let somebody interpret those codes and how that works. I think you're going to be okay. Because when you put it in like 6th gear down the highway, it holds that gear, doesn't slip, tack doesn't keep rising, nothing.
No, it stays like, because with this engine, okay, once it gets out of 1st and I can manually take it all the way to 6th, it'll still be in 2nd gear, but it'll shift by itself into 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. You get what I'm saying? Then when I come to the stop sign, I have to bring it back down to 1, and then when I take it out of 1 again, I can take it back up to 6 manually by itself, and it'll go shift through every gear, 1 or 2 through 6 perfectly. It just doesn't shift out of 1 into 2.
Yeah, this is
something's just hanging up there, right?
No, this is electronic.
Okay. I want to see the codes. Go buy Advanced Auto Parts and have them read it.
Mm-hmm.
Then get
or
back.
Find that piece of paper you had.
Yeah, he'll get a new piece of paper.
Get a new piece of paper because we want to know what the codes are today. But I read it, and then
don't be afraid to call back if you don't figure something out before then.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious what those codes are.
And the local Advance might have a person that they work with that is a small shop, or if you're on social media, we see so many people nowadays. It's dangerous because you don't always get the right expert. But hey, who can help me? Mm-hmm. I'm low on cash and I need to get my transmission fixed. There's always somebody that'll raise their hand, and sometimes it's just fine.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for the call. Good luck.
I am getting overwhelmed with the number of people. In a month now, I get 5 or 6, which is a lot for us, that come in and say, "Oh, can you fix my car?" Sure. Well, here's what I found. I Googled it, and it said it could be these things. What did you Google? My car makes a noise. What is it? And they're literally telling me, well, it's probably this, or this. I'm like, no, I've listened to it. This is what it is. And they're almost arguing, saying, well, that's not what Google says. Like, do you realize that we have over 2,000 episodes of our show giving answers posted on that internet? Where do you think a lot of them come from?
Right from that content.
Seriously, because we're directly posting our questions and answers out there. Plus, you got all the people on YouTube, which there's 1 million. I mean, we just passed 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. In your face, Mr. Beast. Jimmy thinks he's got a show.
He's mad over
Russ
it.
got a little fired up there.
No, but seriously, don't trust. Don't just Google something.
You would never walk into your doctor. You might.
Are
do
you
the same
kidding?
You shouldn't. You shouldn't, but people do.
But if you did walk into your doctor and say, "Hey, I Googled it and I think this was wrong. Can you fix me?"
They're going to say the same thing.
They're going to want to diagnose you.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I am 100% confident that 20 times as many people say that to their doctor as say it to Russ.
Well, but guess what? I back down a lot quicker from my doctor than I would from the mechanic.
That's true, but I think everybody goes in and tells their doctor what's wrong because they Google.
Could it be blah 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 in my
Yeah.
underneath my left pinky?
Could it be something
No.
that isn't related to my weight? Anything?
No, no.
Why is that always your go-to?
Hmm.
We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you. Let's all take a breath here. I'm fine.
Eat another cookie.
Me and you, yeah. I need a snack. 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
With over 2,000 episodes and over 200 stations, Under the Hood has the knowledge to make your car feel good. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Don't forget, if you miss an episode, you can listen to a past episode all the way back now on our podcast. We go way back. We're opening up the catalog there, Russ.
We go way back to yesterday. Yeah, we're like 900 some episodes. I mean, you just go to any podcast site, really. Anything
Yeah.
that's good. That's
Or our website,
worth it,
underthehoodshow.com.
And it doesn't
And then
does it go back to my prepubescent days of 1990?
No, that was...
no, but if you go back to, hi, this is Shannon Nordstrom. And,
it only
that was a
goes
long
back
time.
as far as the internet. Sorry.
Okay.
But I tell you what, listening to the show myself, when I went through probably 30 hours worth of stuff, and that wasn't near all of them, but I was just going to specific places in these, listen, but we sound different. 10 years ago,
Sure.
the way the show's become more refined. I think the listeners are better. The calls are better. Just all sorts of things are
Oh, don't say that.
better
No,
than
no.
it was.
Yeah, I think you have to, because you can't...
That's like an entertainer coming out and saying, "You guys are an
best
average.
crowd."
You're an average audience tonight."
Yeah.
I've had better.
Yeah. The listeners are better now than ever. Today specifically. And if you want to watch the show, you can on our YouTube channel. If you subscribe there and join the Hoodie Fan Club at underthehoodshow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Charlie Hill, congratulations from our friends over at Berkley One Classics. They're celebrating over 50 years of collector car coverage, and we use them for our own vehicles. That's why you're hearing about them right here. BerkleyOneClassics.com and Universal Technical Institute, UTI.edu. We support them because they support us through training of great automotive technicians to make our world easier. So if you want to learn more about automotive technology, check out UTI.edu today.
Charlie Hill. I bet there's a bunch of people listening right now going, "Oh yeah, old Charlie Hill. He used to work on our Chevys, but he wouldn't touch a import. There's no..."
That's what you think when you hear
Yeah,
Charlie Hill.
I think of a guy who I used to know, and I just in general
Where does he live?
over just down around by the Johnsons.
So
Back- they
the
used-
early days, let's say the early days, back in the 70s, when we heard that a lot. Oh, we don't do imports. We just
Oh,
do
yeah.
Chevys. Today, compared to then, I mean, everything's just wires and nuts and bolts, right? But if you go to the 70s and you look at, let's look at a Honda Civic compared to a
Oh, a little CVCC.
CVCC.
compared
We're both
to
trying
a,
to brag.
compared to a Vega or something. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, even a Triumph, other than the carburetors, the car, yeah, things broke a lot more on the foreign cars, but maybe they didn't want the comebacks. But the carburetors were always way different. But the cars, still, nuts, bolts, brakes, tires, they just, it'd be much better today to say, oh, foreign cars, compared to back
Interesting.
then. But yet we have more available things for them. Maybe you just couldn't get the parts as easily. Maybe every auto parts store didn't carry
The Honda.
all the
parts.
Honda parts.
Oh,
I need
yeah.
some brake shoes for my
Interesting.
Honda.
That's
Oh, we don't carry foreign parts.
That's an interesting perspective.
There were just less parts on the car back then. So there was less things to be different than now.
Huh.
It's not like a BMW today compared a BMW Z3 compared to a Chevy Caprice. You compare like the same year, 1990 Caprice versus 90 that era, 96 Caprice,
96 5 Series.
96 Z3, 97 Z3. Yeah, that's a whole different car. Way different.
Interesting.
But the older ones, a whole lot less, way different. Just
We just dismantled a Tesla Model S and dropped the battery out of it, and when they got to dismantling it, once you get past the battery,
It was normal.
it's got a bunch of control arms and it's got a subframes.
Didn't
and
catch on fire
rack
when
and
you took it
pinion.
apart?
No, everything was good. We did it properly, but it was there again. The drivetrain's still all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It's the same type of car.
Down in Texas, every other day they are posting something about, oh, look, another car on fire in a parking lot. They're not electric cars. They're all gas cars. They're all saying, well, let's see what happens when you stop inspections. Yeah, I don't think stopping inspections January this year really affected it. But isn't that weird? In your mind, you think which car, if you had an electric car and you had a gas car and they're both sitting there, say, which one's more likely to catch on fire? Because of the news and the media, we think, oh, it's the electric one, right?
If you're driving down the road and you see a car on fire, it's probably not an electric. Probably a truck.
866-594
Shannon's truck.
4150. Let's go to Ohio and talk to Ryan. You're on the Under the Hood show. Ryan, what can we do for you?
Oh, how's it going, guys? I love the show.
Thanks.
I got a question for you. I got a nice, it's great show. I've learned a lot. I have a 1991 GMC Sonoma Chevy S10, same thing. It's got the 4.3 V6 in it. It's not the stock 4.3. It's got a new pistons and cam. I've done a bunch of hot rod stuff to it. Anyways, and I bought a new throttle body for it with like the prong trips, like the little tips they had back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And a company did it. They did a great job with it. Had it last summer, ran awesome. Well, I stored it in October. Filled the gas tank up, no stable or nothing in it. Put a battery tender on it. And a couple days ago in Toledo, it was like 65 degrees. It was awesome. So I just took it for a ride, and it started kind of like sputtering, like losing power a little bit. Just every time I get a gas, it feel like it was going to die. So I was kind of driving it slowly, and then all of a sudden I kind of got on it a little bit more, and then it opened up, and it ran perfect. Well, the reason why I'm calling, would that be because the gas is getting old, or there's something else going on? Any idea?
It could be that the gas was getting old, but it could also be that there's just some, gum and varnish buildup in those injectors. So they're sticking a little bit. When you give it a little more throttle, it pulls them open. I mean, literally, it'll pull them wide open and basically hold them all the way open if you're really standing on the throttle, because it's just pouring fuel in and then you're letting more air in through that butterfly valve. So they could be sticking. You might want to run some cleaner through it. Like get yourself a CRC emission system cleaner kit. That's one of our partners and something we use now and then to clean these for this issue. You put it in and just drive it, and see if that'll clean it up. And when you have a car, if you get an older one that's starting to get some wear in the injectors compared to a brand new one, like maybe not brand new, within 5 years old, that's starting to get slight wear, things like gum and varnish will affect the older one more than the new one. Whereas they both might run fine with clean gas and running every day. But once they start to get a little old and a little wear, that older one's going to stick, and standing on a little bit might clear it up.
And I think that we're ignoring something on this phone call, I think.
What's that?
What drives you? What drives you? And why did you decide to take the 91 Sonoma and hot rod the V6?
It's cool.
I know, but I
got
I need to know. I need to know a little more about this.
Okay.
I got it when I was in high school. I got it for real cheap, and me and my dad are pretty much into cars, and we just kind of got into it, I guess. And I just never kind of stopped.
So you've owned this. You've owned this
So,
for 20 plus years.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
This is a Berkley One Classi.
Car, actually, too,
This 91 Sonoma is a Berkley One Classic. He took it out just for the good weather.
Yep.
So your little
customized it.
Your little V6 in there. How many horsepower are you getting out of that thing?
I mean, the guy that built the motor around my town says he'd be lucky to get maybe 200 at the rear wheels. That's what he said.
It's pretty good.
It doesn't weigh much, and it's that's what he said. So
yeah, that's pretty good
heavy.
for that. I mean, you're going to feel it when you drive it. You're going to say, this has got more power than the original, which is good.
Still not a Cyclone.
No,
but it'll last longer.
Yeah, well, yes, it will. So has this thing ever been painted? We gotta guess, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, don't tell us.
Okay.
Is it a long box?
Okay. No, it's a short box.
Okay.
Okay. And has it been just repainted the same color, or has it been different colors?
It's the same stock color, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we haven't guessed a Sonoma or a S10 color. I think this one is the first one. I'm going to say that I think it's white. What do you think, Chris?
I'm going to go red just on the odds. It seems to me that I'm going with red.
We had one back in our town that had the guy put a V8 in it. It was just a couple years old when he did it. Wonder what happened to that thing. It was blue.
Blue.
It was a shiny
Well, we kind of
blue.
just hit the three big ones.
But it was
there.
a long box. That's what in my head. And
Okay.
When was the last time you saw a long box S10?
Every once in a while.
Ryan, what color is it?
Yeah. Bright red.
All right.
Chris,
Hey, look at me.
the winner.
Uh,
Yeah.
Thank-
Check out Berkley One Classics. Could be a good chance to keep that thing insured really nice with an agreed value because you've got some
Save
investment
some
in it
cash.
and
and
save
did we
some money.
did we help you out
Yes,
there? Are
I
you
do,
going the
yeah.
right direction now?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to, yeah. And one more quick question: when does gas start to varnish? Like, I know that's kind of a vague question. Any idea at all?
And it's changed
Like,
over the
would
years.
That be,
Yeah.
Like,
If it's fresh
Yeah,
gas
probably
when you
so.
buy it, it's usually good for a year. But a lot of times, if you're not driving a car
okay, all right.
a lot, and putting new gas on top of old gas doesn't fix it.
Yeah.
You know, that's happened around here a few times where it's like, oh, I got this car and it's been sitting 10 years. It smells bad. Well, we put 5 gallons of good gas in it. It doesn't make any difference.
I've got a couple of I need to get the gas out of.
So if you've got, like, this has got 5 gallons in it and you drive it and you say, oh, I'm getting down pretty low. Let's put another 5 gallons in there. Oh, I'm getting a little low. Let's put 5 more. And you keep diluting the old stuff, but it's never really completely gone. On a car that I have that I drive on the boats, it's like, okay, I'm going to go drive it. And I'm going to get it really, really low. And then I'm going to fill it all the way up and I'm going to put stabilizer in it. Or I'm going to fill it up enough where if I'm not going to burn a couple tanks this season, I'm going to fill it up to where I know that next year I can run this out and I'm going to put stabilizer in it.
Ryan, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you.
This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Ohio again and talk to Walt. You're on the Under the Hood show, Walt. What can we do for you?
Yes, my dad's got a 1965 Ford Fairlane we picked up about 10, 12 years ago. And the master cylinder brake's got a round screw-on cap like a mason jar, and I've been trying to get that off, and I can't get it to break loose to check the fluid. I just wonder if you guys had anything to try to get it off without having to replace the whole cylinder.
Sure. So you can get it off there. We've had this happen, and what I usually use on it, don't use giant channel lock grips because they'll bend it in certain spots, but
It'd be so tempting,
and
though.
then they can leak. We find an oil filter wrench that'll fit it, that'll grab the whole thing evenly and crank on it and see if that'll take it off. More than likely, that's going to take it off. If it does not, you can apply a little bit of heat to it because brake fluid it's made to get very hot before it burns and oxidizes, like hundreds of degrees. So if you get like one of those little micro hand torches, don't set the car on fire, but if you just warm it up really good, or even a hair dryer enough to
a heat gun even for a
yeah,
while.
as hot as you can get it with that is not going to hurt it. And then use the wrench, the oil filter wrench to
That's a good suggestion.
take it off.
That's a really good suggestion.
Yeah, well, we've had those.
Yeah, I didn't think about
Strap wrench.
that. I got one of them rubber belt kind of things, but I didn't try that either.
That
so,
might
yeah,
do it too.
I got a heat gun.
You could
So,
do you could do like
that's what
you could do like my wife does, and it always drives me like thinking she's gonna have a big event. Take the master cylinder off, bring it into the kitchen, and bang it against the edge of the counter when the jar doesn't open.
I was picturing your wife walking in with the
And
master cylinder.
what are your countertops made of? Because when I try to do that, before I get to the counter, I'm pointing at my wife on the other side of the hallway. How about that? She's like, no. I'm like, oh, Okay.
Yeah, no,
You're gonna chip
just
that.
just a nice little ching, 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 ching. Like, just give it to me.
Walt, before we let you go, this one clearly we have to.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the original color?
Yes, it's faded, but it's still original.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's what. Because I think if you paint a Fairlane, you probably go something. I'm thinking light blue. I'm thinking faded blue.
I'm thinking if he knows it's faded, it was a dark primary color originally, so it's red.
Okay. White? You going with white?
No,
Oh.
faded white. Yeah, right. No, I'm trying to think of Fairlane odd colors. I'm going to throw it that brownish color they had.
Okay. What color is it, Walt?
It's something like a robin egg green, light blue, I guess you'd call it. I call it more of a.
I think Chris is close to winning the second one in a row here.
Well, I would definitely call it light
for
blue.
the Berkley One Classi.
Yeah.
Guess the color contest. So, is the Fairlane? Is it a hot rod one or was it a basic one? Let's hear a little bit more about the Fairlane.
It's just something. Well, my dad had a 1964 Falcon he bought brand new years ago, and he used it on a mail route, and he said that was the perfect car for what he wanted, and he wore it out. And then about 8-9 years ago, he was reminiscing about that car, and, well, I couldn't find one anyplace, but I found this Fairlane set along the road, and it was about the same color and same box design and stuff, but this one has a 289 instead of the 6-cylinder, but it's just a basic 4-door, everyday driving car. That's all it is.
Fun.
Nice. Thanks very much for the call, Walt. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Texas and talk to Daniel. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Daniel, what can we do for you?
Hey, I love listening to your show. I always learn a thing or two.
Thank you.
I have a 95 Honda Accord that is my grandmother's car, and the cruise control stopped working on her, and she's wanting me to fix it for her. So I've got the original electrical wiring diagram and the shop manual, and I've been going through this trying to figure out what the issue is. And from what I've been able to find, it seems like everything's working. The one thing I haven't tested is the cable reel in the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm.
The clock spring, what some call it.
Yeah, is that something that is likely to be the problem? Because I have to pull off the airbag to test it.
Yeah, it is, but you don't have to do that. So here's what you could do. You could disconnect it down under the dash. There's two parts. You got the airbag part, and you've got the buttons for your clock spring, your steering wheel buttons separate. You can test those just with an ohm meter. Check for resistance through them as you push each button. You go on the common wire, and then you go to each one, and you say, okay, you're set, resume, on, off, and see what they're doing. And if you don't get something on one of them, that tells us one of two things. Either the switch is bad or the clock spring is bad. The switches themselves failing are more common than the clock springs in those cars. The clock springs were about indestructible in those, but those buttons, they fail a lot. And if the buttons have failed and the clock spring has failed and you just want it to work, but you are saying, I don't want to spend all that money to get this cruise going, it's not worth that much, you can get an aftermarket cruise control switch. They used to put them on the dashboard of cars, and we'd get them out of J.C. Whitney years ago, but now you can get them from places like Dakota Digital, or just look for an aftermarket cruise control button setup. You just mount it anywhere you want, on the console, the dash, and then you hook the wires up to the same place underneath that the old one hooked to from the wheel, and you just push the on button.
Okay.
Your on button's in your dash on that one, isn't it? On, off.
Yeah, the on button's in the dash. Yeah.
Yeah, so all you got to worry about is set, resume. So you just have those on the buttons. Heck, you could just get a couple doorbell buttons, set, resume, coast, set.
Can I get like a laser button or any kind of button I want?
Just a button.
If you want it to be a cool button,
or an old garage door, the big garage door doorbell button.
That's what I mean. The big
Yeah.
button.
Big tall. Lit. It's orange at night.
Backlit.
With an ornate trim around
exactly. The address.
Okay, I've got one more question.
Okay.
So this one's quick. I've got a '07 Saturn Veu that I drive all the time, and I'm about to do another oil change, and I was hearing you talking about an oil additive for cars with a high mileage. I've got like almost 200,000 miles on it, and so I was wondering, is that something I should be putting in, and what was that?
In a Saturn Veu, there's a couple things you can put in there to make that work. Now, one of them, our partner at Hot Shot Secret has a lifter tick fix product, and it does a couple things. It's going to clean out sticky lifters, and it is going to help lubricate them with an additive to make sure that they don't have that problem again. But it's good when you get an older engine like this and you're worried about those things that can stick in there. And that'd be something that's one of the products you could use to do that. There is another product that we use in our shop for cars just to protect them from wear, and that's from Justice Brothers. Their heavy-duty vehicle. It's a metal conditioner that is made to make things more slippery. We pour it in to just give less friction to all the metal parts to keep things running smoother so they don't wear out as fast. And that'll also help with some of the noise.
That one he would get at the shop.
At a professional shop. Yep.
Okay. Daniel, there you go. A couple ideas for you. Thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Rich. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Rich, what can we do for you?
Yeah, guys. I got a 2012 Dodge Grand Caravan, and I got a code that flashed on it, and it's the ESIM, the Mission System Integrity Monitor. How hard does that change?
That is what they call a leak detection pump, and it is not.
Yeah, we get
it's not too bad.
Car.
Yeah. So this thing here, your evap from your engine, it goes from the purge valve of the engine down to this thing, which is used to measure the pressure in the tank, whether it can hold a vacuum or not, and it measures pressure. But it's got a sensor in it. It monitors the integrity of that evap system, and it's a bolt-on part. You just unplug it, take a couple bolts off, take it off the car. You're good to go.
And it's because he got that code, we know that's the problem, not that it's actually
it's a high probability of that's the problem.
Okay.
Usually when that comes up, so if that part's working, you'll get like a 440 or something. You get an evap code saying fuel cap's loose or a large leak or a small leak detected. But when you get an integrity monitor code, that usually means that sensor in that monitor is dead and it just can't read anymore. It's not doing its job.
Does that help you out there, Rich?
Yeah, like I say, that causes a gas smell in the car then?
Well, a gas smell in the car it's not caused by that thing failing unless it's got a hole in it, but what can be causing it is if you have a hole in one of those lines going back to the tank, so you'd smell it and you'd get that code. So I would do a visual inspection first and see if you see any leakage in that system by way of rubber lines. It might be so simple as you go, oh, the end of it's chewed off by a rat, maybe another alligator, and then you just snip the end off and plug it back in and you're fixed. We've had cars over the years, a lot of them that were that simple, and they think it's going to be a big fix, and it's not.
That gas smell in the car, you don't want to mess with that on it. I mean, you want to get that handled, right?
Right. I mean, you don't want to be smelling if it's just vapor.
Yeah.
Because you've got an evap system leak. That's not going to be super harmful. If it's raw fuel, though, you don't know the difference.
Right.
Raw fuel makes vapor. So if it's raw fuel, that's a safety issue. Got to get that fixed.
That's going to do it for this hour of the Under the Hood Show. Until next hour, thanks for listening. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
You're listening to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics, Shannon Nordstrom and Russ the Super Tech Evans. Shannon is an ASE engine and parts specialist, and Russ is an ASE Master Certified Technician with extensive factory drivability training. The Under the Hood Show is heard weekly on this and other great radio stations.
With Russ Evans, this is Shannon Nordstrom, thanking you for tuning in to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show. Have a great day, and remember, PTLA.
The opinions heard on this program, based on the many years of experience of Russ and Shannon, are offered for entertainment value and as a guide to your repair needs. No guarantee to repair or cause is given or implied. Always check with your favorite certified technician and follow all safety procedures before attempting repair. The Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics is reproduced and distributed by Prairie House Productions. Have questions for the Motor Medics? Call our 24-hour toll-free number, 866-594-4150. All content of the Under the Hood Show is the property of Nordstrom's Incorporated. Copyright Nordstrom's Automotive and may be reproduced with our permission. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is here to do the same.
Welcome, hoodies. Thanks for tuning in so we can help you tune up.
Russ's wife is here as well. Say good morning, Russ's wife. Oh, that's not it. Try again. Russ. 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 Oh, man.
We were going to have this big event.
All right, now try. Say
Loving under the hood.
Okay, there we go. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Chris.
866-5. I'm Chris Carter, by the way. 866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. What has caught your attention in the automotive world?
Well, I tell you what, I had it last week, but I didn't get a chance to get to it. But Stellantis took
the fine wine company.
Yes, or is it a little? Is it a beer?
It feels like
it's the small, the little can.
Yeah,
the thin one that needs the small koozie.
not the big ones we saw down in Texas.
Right.
The big
like a bubbler.
What do you call the big ones we saw in Texas?
Oh, the 40.
Yeah, what do you call those? What do they call them? They got a name.
A 40. It's a 40 ounce.
It's a 40?
Yeah.
I thought it had another name.
You know,
for
rolling down the street with the 40.
Okay, I just remember you started singing a song when we saw it. But
almost bought one.
No, Stellantis issued a major attention getter for 225,000 vehicles to a do not drive, and their intent was, I think, there's a legal side to this too, for sure. But we've been trying to recall these vehicles for 10 years, and you haven't responded.
Mm-hmm.
And we've tried a lot of measures, and your vehicle is still dangerous, and you should not drive it. And they're hoping that they'll get more attention to have people for the airbag, Dakota airbags.
Yeah.
But having said that, that does make me a little nervous. It really does. It's like issuing tornado warnings when there's not a tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, if you raise it to another level and you still don't get action, well, what do you got left? I mean, go tow the car out of their driveway?
Aren't they trying to protect themselves to say, Judge, I told them don't drive it, and they did it anyway.
That's the legal side of it. I would bet. But that was when I saw the news, I was like, okay, what's this about? With that, usually you see the do not drives. It's like we know of 12 to 14 Rangers that have this airbag in it that could be a big problem.
Right.
And we're individually calling them, or like the Lamborghini recall where there was one or
one of the 6.
Yeah.
First you have to have it was a seatbelt thing, wasn't it? In the Lamborghini?
I don't remember. Yeah.
First you have to have a car that's involved in a collision to even get on the radar of a problem with being injured by a Dakota airbag, right? The car has to be in an accident. That's already the numbers are low compared to production of the cars compared to how many are going to have an airbag deployment event. And then it's even lower because not every single one of those airbags is going to have an issue with that's the dangerous part. Just a portion of them were, not every one. So that makes it even lower. So the numbers aren't really out there on the radar. We've seen them. We know there's been some deaths and injury caused by some of the shrapnel that the early ones had. But what are the actual numbers? I wonder how many have actually...
That's the thing. And I think it's the opposite of that. If you have... our sample size is so small, but still the amount in that sample size is big enough to make us notice. That's the huge problem.
It's all a little bit scary,
Yeah.
but I think that you you got manufacturers out there when they have these things happen. It would be odd if they didn't take their time,
right?
Because the longer this stretches out, the fewer vehicles that are still on the road. They start retiring more of them. They get wrecked. They're gone. They love, you know what? During my work week, I've got my little notepad where I'm writing down, oh, juice, I got to do this yet. I start filling up the page. I got to do this yet. Nothing more satisfactory than crossing it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure for those people in that recall division, they get a certain amount of award and excitement when they get to cross off VIN numbers.
Yeah.
Nope, don't have to worry about that one anymore. Don't have to worry about that one anymore. And so
sometimes we get that way when we fixed a car and it comes back like 20 times. We're like, oh, this thing is just driving us nuts. And they're like, hey, I want to let you know I wrecked my car. It won't be coming in anymore. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Huh.
It hangs up the phone. Yes.
And in this case, this is we talked about this so much back then that we kind of forget this. Talking about it at work the other day, and someone said, why do they keep using Takata airbags? Are they the only manufacturer of airbags or what? Ha ha ha.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. It's gotten to that. I mean, we got there a while ago, but yeah, there were no one was making replacements for those. It was Takata. And how many times did they issue a new one?
How many times?
And then recall that one?
How many airbags have you had in your Element?
I'm on my third recall.
Okay.
I've had them replaced, and then I didn't, and then I got another one. So I'm on it. The ones that I should have gotten in have been recalled. So I feel like I'm super smart.
You've had one set of airbag?
One set, and then that set got recalled, and then I got notice that the replacement sets were going to be recalled, but I hadn't done the replacement yet. So
the whole air thing this airbag thing has got to be partially political too, because just the other day I looked up frontal crash sensors for an 05 Tahoe. Pretty new vehicle yet for being on the road. There's still thousands and thousands out there, right? They don't sell one anymore. They do not sell. They have stopped producing. GM has stopped producing over a year ago both the frontal crash sensors for that vehicle, and you cannot buy them. They don't sell them aftermarket.
I know this because I had a bundle of them, new surplus, and they all of a sudden instantly became the hottest thing on my eBay store.
When they discontinued them. So here's the thing. How can a manufacturer be allowed to not be, you're not allowed to keep your vehicle safe, but yet that manufacturer has to be responsible for airbags that are working poorly, that could hurt somebody, that they're not allowed to disable. They're effectively disabling that Tahoe airbag by not selling a part to fix it, but they can't disable airbags that could kill you by going off. You got a better chance of just slamming into a wall with no airbags than having an airbag go off in your face that might shoot shrapnel at you. But they can't disable them. They've got to fix them. It's a weird deal how they kind of, I think they go by event and which one goes through court and what the outcome is.
This is the worst show ever. I don't want to.
Yeah, there's
so depressing.
And the real is we don't know any of this. We're speculating,
right?
But the logical thinking would make you think that there's got to be some weights and measures to their decisions.
Yeah, there's something somewhere that somebody's making decisions that we'll never know about.
866-594-4150. Let's talk to Sam in Minnesota. Sam, you're on the End of the Hood Show. What can we do for you?
Hey guys, I have an 08 Nissan Titan, with the 5.6 and all that. It's a very good motor. I love that. But I'm having an issue with not getting my ABS and my slip light off. I'm not being able to turn it off. Now, I've replaced 3 of the 4 sensors just because I bought, and I've replaced one twice. But it says when we hook it up to the machine that there's no juice going to my left rear. Okay, if I take that sensor on my left rear tire out, and there's a plug hanging underneath my box, where does that wire go? Where does that continue forward? And is there any like ohms or any juice in there that's a constant juice with the key on?
It runs all the way to the front, up that body harness till it reaches the ABS control module.
Okay. It runs all the way up. So can I just buy another one and somehow find that ABS module and plug it into it, unplug it, and leave that son of a gun right there?
No, they don't. They don't do that.
Okay.
If you've got a problem with the wire and you don't know where it's at and you want to bypass it, what you've got to do is get yourself 2 wires of the same gauge. If it's 16, 18 gauge, you got to get 2 wires of the same gauge, and then you need to stretch them out long enough to reach about 5 feet further than from the rear end to the front, and then you need to clamp those 2 of those wires in a vise or something on one end, and then you put the other end in an electric cordless drill, and then you turn the drill on while you're holding it out with just enough tension to not break it, but you don't want it slacked. And you run the drill, zzz, and it's gonna pull you forward slowly until you get 1 twist of wires per half inch. Basically, it's going to look just like your old ABS wire is going to look the same.
Yep.
It's going to be twisted. If it's not twisted, you'll get interference and it'll never work. So do that, and then just cut each end off a little bit until you get the size you want, so it's clean ends. Hook that in up at the ABS module, go to the back, hook it in at a new ABS sensor, and you fix that circuit. Because you've got somewhere in there, you probably have a break in the wire, or you just have a little rub through in it, and it's causing interference and making it look dead. And as far as your question about voltage, usually you'll see a little bit of something because that's how the module tests the wiring. So if you check your right rear, your passenger rear, and it has, let's say, 300 millivolts with the key on, and the left side is dead, well, that means either the module's dead or the wiring's got a break in it somewhere.
All right, I'm going with the tiebreaker here. Shannon. Russ is going to do that. I'm not.
I've got to come back to this.
That's how mechanical
I hear the music. We're coming back to this because I can't leave this alone. I have thoughts.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll hear from Shannon, and then we want to hear from you. 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
If car repair was cheap, you wouldn't need us. We're Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us. Let me make you the tiebreaker on this, on Russ's idea. Russ is going to do that with the drill and the wires. I'm not. So we're at the top and bottom ends of the skill set.
Sam, you still there?
Oh, let me do that again.
Let's try this
What you
again.
had is it does not go into 4-wheel drive.
It's okay, Sam. We're starting. We're still on the ABS thing here. Just hang on for a second.
Oh, it's 4-wheel drive won't work because
the
this is
ABS.
broken.
Yeah, because the system's not working.
Right.
Your 4-wheel drive is not going to work.
Yeah. Okay.
But what Russ described with those wires, are you game for that?
Well, I'm just going to try to run a wire over there to see if there's any juice, but I would. I guess I could try it.
Yeah, because I mean, you could check continuity, but it won't work without shielding them against the twisted pair. So now here's where I get into this a little bit further. When you first had the problem, and I don't know this, Russ, does that 08 Titan, if he would have had it with the right scanner, could he have found out which wheel that code was coming from instead of just
left rear, right?
I did know. Yes, I did know. Yep.
Oh, I
Yep,
see. You said you replaced 3 of them. I thought you were. I thought you were guessing. That's when
I
you
did. I did. I replaced all 3 of them after I've already replaced the one twice.
I got you. Okay,
Because
so
I thought maybe I had a bad one.
So now onto this thing about the twisted pair.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, I might try it, but here's the difference between what would happen with what Russ described and what I described. So Russ, Russ, what was the length of the wire? What do I got to do?
Just make it about 5 feet longer than what you think it should be, so that when you twist it, it's going to make it shorter.
And this wire came from where?
You just get a couple bulk wire.
You go buy
rolls. Yeah.
Okay. So here's what happens to me. I have to buy
extension.
No, I have to buy 3 lengths of that wire.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first one, I'm going to hit the drill, and it's going to go way too fast, and I'm going to have an ugly mess.
You had it on speed 2 instead of speed 1.
Yeah, and it's going to not work well. or I'm going to put it in the vise and I'm going to squish it too hard and I'm going to realize that I ruined the. I mean, there's a problem.
You're going to hit the trigger. It's going to pull right out because it went so fast and shortened up.
It's not working. And then the second time, I'm thinking I've got it all figured out and I got it fixed. And then I'm going to leave the drill in reverse or something, and something else is going to go wrong.
Yeah.
So then the last time is when I'll just be taking a break. I'm going to get this right, and then maybe I'm going to get the proper tension, the proper speed, and it's going to work. So now I lean to our guest in the studio, who I think Russ was showing off for his wife with that answer. I'm quite sure that that answer would have been a little different if Michelle wasn't sitting here. But Michelle, when Russ does something like he just described, does it go perfect every time? Be truthful.
99.9, I swear. He's just that type of person.
Because I got it. There's got to be a truth serum here somewhere that he has that same event that he doesn't get it right the first time, and he rips the crap out of the wires, and then he gets mad, and he's got to run to the store and buy more wires. And
son of a! Sometimes it's Chris Farley.
So Michelle, just you want to expound on that?
So when he was building the barn shed, it happened a couple times with the wood, and then we had to go back to Menards to get more wood. And yes, he does get upset, but guess what? He makes it right.
Oh, yeah, and it's perfect when it's done.
Rough draft, masterpiece.
Yeah.
There's some truth to that.
Well, and I saw the work that you guys did up in our service center, and I was shielded from the unveiling for a number of months. Started in Christmas time, and
we were only there 14 weekends.
It proved the concept. I heard the number 240 hours or something like that. This is after we already had a very skilled carpenter very skilled carpenter in there that did
the contractor did amazing work.
He did a bunch of work too, and so Russ said, "It's not good enough."
Oh no, it's good enough. It needed more.
It needed more. Yeah,
we needed more.
And Michelle's got her touches all over it, so it's awesome. Sorry,
Sam. Let us know how that works if you do it. All right, and keep track of how many times.
What is that harness called between there? Can I just buy one online?
Nope. You could buy a whole body harness, but they don't sell it anymore. No, it's the part of the entire body harness, lighting, everything.
You
they
might,
just don't
if you knew for sure the options, and maybe there was a tag number on that rear body harness, you might find somebody on Cardash Part where you could look up an ABS module and see if they have the truck in the yard yet, and you could pay them. They're not going to do it for $20, but they might do it for $150.
Yeah,
to go out
get that back part
and get a unbolted, unclipped, proper harness with the same tag number.
And sometimes
because people don't inventory stuff like that.
It might be easier for you to put the whole harness on. Chris is going, I'd put the whole harness on instead of making that thing. But if it was a front one, you'd be in luck because most of those front ABS harnesses are made from our partner over at Dorman Products, and it's like, oh, there it is. It's twisted, ready to go. Just plug it in, and then you plug it in up at the top because that's where they break. That rear one, though, this is almost unheard of. They don't break. They rust. You get a little rust on the body or something, and it rubs a hole in it. So a visual inspection, you might look at the whole thing and say, hey,
here it is.
I see some rust on the outside of my harness. Well, that's a great indication that inside of the harness, there's more rust, and it's coming out. So you just cut the tape off with a razor blade, open it up, say, oh, one wire broken, solder it together, insulate it, put it together, fixed.
Sam, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Ron. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Ron, what can we do for you?
I got a 2019 Dodge Ram 1500. And up until about a month ago, I could go to the gas station, tank fill up great. I brought it to a body shop to have some work done on it, and they did have to pull the box off. But when I got it back, it only take about a half gallon at a time. So I brought it back to the body shop. They pulled it back off. Kind of thought maybe we pinched the vent line or hose or something. So they took it back off. They had it for 2 days. Changed out, I think, the purge valve and some other stuff. Hoses all look good. Basically, called me until they come get it. There's nothing they could do about it. I had to get a full tank of gas out of them, but that was a good deal. But they just, and it's still, I took it to the gas station yesterday again, and about a half gallon at a time. You got to just sit there and just feather it the whole time. Now, they did say there is a service bulletin on it, but not a recall. And I think the service bulletin, they're requesting a new fuel tank put in it. But do you know anything or I could do? Or
Ron, I gotta ask you a couple questions to kind of solidify our answer, I think, here. At least I believe. When you brought it to the body shop, what directly were they doing? What was the operation they had to do?
they just do some body work on the cab. I had hit unfortunately, a light pole in a parking lot. I kind of turned too sharp, so I kind of hit that back door. So they're replacing that bottom rocker or cab corner rocker, but there really wasn't any damage done on the box.
Okay, no, I
believe that.
First of all, Ron, you told me way more than you needed to because you just admitted to the world what happened, and I wasn't trying to go that far, Ron. But it'll be okay. No, I was trying to understand if there was any reason with the repair that they did. It's not uncommon to remove a box to work on the back of the cab, to access fuel pumps. I mean, boxes get removed often to make the job easier to get that big hunk of metal out of the way. In doing that operation, you disconnect the fuel filler hoses, the vent line to the tank, and that's it. You don't mess with the evap system unless by chance, some stupid reason on certain types of vehicles, somebody would pinch something and break something, putting it back together because they left a tool in there. I mean, there's weird, crazy things can happen. But most likely, that's a pretty simple operation. You unbolt it from the tank, you unfasten it from the tank, you unfasten the vent. It shouldn't have affected the evap piece of that puzzle or the canister part of that puzzle in that operation. Russ, have you got thoughts? Is there
just the hose being twisted, which they said they figured that out and it was fine because it has a vent up at the top. If there's nothing wrong with that, it is possible. I think these had the recall bulletin thing they had was because of a broken piece of that bladder inside that tank, which could cause this. And for that to happen, it does happen often in collisions, but usually heavy collisions. But if it was getting loose, they will break on their own sometimes. So I'm wondering if maybe banging it around, taking the tank with the box off, which they should be able to do. You should be able to hammer on that thing and not damage it. But if it was that weak, just moving stuff around, it might have finally failed. So you might need to replace that.
But there's
tank.
really nothing they could have normally done in the operation of removing the box and putting it back on. As long as that filler is straight and attached.
It's a normal
something
procedure.
Else has happened.
It should have been able to hold.
It's just horrible
up.
timing.
It's like saying you broke my lug nuts off when you were removing them. I put the tool on reverse. I screwed them off. They were stuck. It wasn't the tool that broke them. They're made to come off. The box is made to come off without the tank failing. So if the tank failed, it was going to fail anyways.
Ron, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
YouTube certified mechanic. Yeah, that's not quite what they mean by certified mechanic. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Don't forget, if you miss a show, you can catch it on the podcast. And if you want to watch the show, you can watch it on our social media channels. And if you subscribe to the YouTube channel and join the Hoodie Fan Club at underthehoodshow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Jeremy Millison. Congratulations to everybody here at Under the Hood and our friends over at Berkley One Classics, celebrating over 50 years of collector car coverage. And Universal Technical Institute, find them at uti.edu.
I saw speaking at UTI, I saw a video the other day about mini CNC machines.
Mini?
They're like
a lot of them or tiny?
Or they make cars.
They're small.
Minis?
No, they're small. Okay. They're not too expensive. And are they worth it? And I was like, oh, I got to get me one of those. Oh man, the only thing is, I don't make anything or need one. I just think they're neat. So I don't know how long it would last.
I'm gonna get some of those someday so you could just stop by our place and you could use them.
Yeah, I'll rent it.
Like some 3D printing stuff and some CNC machines, a nice Bridgeport just to play around with making. We're gonna make some parts.
I just think of making things like that I already have.
How long would you be happy with that, Chris?
Well, before happiness, I'm sure would come frustration and anger. Kind of like twisting the wires that we talked about.
But once you got it down where you could do things, how soon before you'd be bored?
Oh, right away, because I don't have anything to do. I don't know, I'd be like, Diane, look. And she'd be like, yeah, neat. What are you going to do with it? I'm like, why do you have to ruin everything?
I'm going to make another one.
Yeah. I'm going to perfect it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's good. Hey, I got to ask Russ a question about the 19 Ram with the fuel thing from before the hour.
Thing,
okay.
Yeah.
When you overfill, you can cause problems. We tell people all the time not to overfill their tank.
Spill fuel into the evap system, into the canister.
Is there anything in the reassembly that could have replicated an overfill, or
Nope.
Is there anything I'm just trying to think of anything else there that could have.
They would have to have a pinched closed vent line back there. You're not allowing the tank to vent. So when you put fuel in, it comes back up.
And I missed it. Was it 1-to-1? It was he got it back and it happened
That's
immediately?
what it sounded like.
Okay.
Yeah. So
there's a plastic tube inside of the rubber tube that goes down to the tank. If that was kinked in there somehow, it's not vent. The venting isn't the problem. It's restricted. It's blocked off, so it's kicking back. That's a possibility too. We've run into this. When our own truck did this, it was older. It was a Ram.
Yep.
Tim was like, just kept kicking back.
I still think of Terry Johnson too with his Avalanche. That thing was
no, but it did burn to the ground, so it fixed the problem.
That was a celebration call.
Yeah. He's
Sorry,
like,
Terry, but we're really happy about that fuel problem we couldn't figure out.
But he never had a leak. It would just, when he filled it up, of course it leaked then when he filled it, but that's not when it burned up. But ours, we ended up putting a canister on it. It was fixed. This was so long ago, it was before we even really knew about the canister problem.
So is it possible that the collision shop was being nice and they gave him a full tank of gas and somebody overfilled it and that was the one that put it over the edge?
No.
That's what I was timing. That's timing.
New cars, you can do it a few times. And no, they filled it trying to
that was after
replicate the problem.
That's right. It was after the fact.
They kept putting more
because
in
he
it.
said he got a full tank of gas out of the deal.
They probably kept putting it in going, does this fix it? Nope. A little more. Does this
So
fix
that just
it? Nope.
reinforces our theory that it's highly unlikely that collision shop did anything that should have caused that problem.
Right.
Something just could have gotten. I like your theory about something being shook loose in the accident if it was already a little bit loose, because otherwise it should be stronger than that.
Oh, wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it be just horrible but funny? If they remove the filler neck from the tank to pull the box off, right? And they didn't want it to leak. They didn't want vapor, so they stuffed a rag in there. And then they put the filler neck back on.
And just stuff the rag down in it.
And the rag had fallen in to where the roller valve is, and it's just stuck in there.
No.
It can happen.
Just like in surgery when you...
Yeah. Why is there a sutures in the x-ray?
Yeah.
Oh.
Scissors.
Trisha, that's your job.
866-594-4150. And by the way, again, kudos to him for I would have made up a story. Maybe we caught him off guard on what happened, why it was at the body shop. Because I wouldn't have said what he did.
I would have hit a pole.
I got hit in the parking lot.
Since my wife is here, she remembers when we saw it. I'm locally there was a bar where it's a marine, a Vernite Marine, and so that place where the automotive store used to be. There was a bar there after the automotive store moved out, right behind the bank.
I'm
setting it up for these guys. The other people are going.
Chris is tracking, but you just keep going. Don't try to get me on board if I can't get there.
Well, there's light poles. Let's just say this. Hey guys, so my wife and I saw this. There's light poles in this parking lot. There's a bar in the parking lot. There is directly lined up perfectly with the bar and a parking space, which is no more than 40 feet away, 30, 40 feet. This car drove had to come straight out of there because that's the only way you could get the fastest run was if you backed up to the front door of the bar and floored it to hit this pole. It hit that pole so hard that the whole front end of the car was bent around that. Remember that? It was like a little car, like a Fusion, and the whole front end was like bent so far around you couldn't get it off the pole. You'd have to pry it apart and then back it out. And we're like, you can hit stuff pretty hard in the parking lot. So when he says, I had a little pole parking lot damage, I was thinking in my head how hard this car hit this pole with maybe a 40-foot run. How fast can you get like a Ford Fusion going in 40 feet? Can you get going 50 miles an hour in 40 feet?
37.
37, you think that's it?
That's the number. That was me. No, no.
That baby had both the airbags blown, and it was just wrapped around.
That is a short distance to
Get
create
going
that sort of
high.
impact.
That reminds me of my brother when he was 16, was screwing around and hit a pole, and he hit it right between the M, dead center between the M and the O on his Plymouth Fury. He hit that. You could not, because my other brother, was picking on him, went and measured specifically right in the center. He hit it dead on. You couldn't have hit it more if he had tried.
So when we say in the industry center pole shot,
this was
that was a center pole
right
shot.
there, yeah.
A centered pole shot.
Exactly. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Maine and talk to Keegan. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Keegan, what can we do for you?
Hey, gentlemen. So I have a 2011 F-250 with a diesel that I've been working on. It originally, it was running, warming up, the owner said, and then the engine completely stalled. And he went to try to crank it again, nothing, and he realized that a bunch of oil under the vehicle. So then he found an oil leak. It was his oil filter had failed. He replaced that, re-topped off the oil. When he went to crank it again, still no crank. He gets display, everything comes on in the cabin, but the starter wasn't turning over. I come out and I check his batteries. They were low, like 11.8 for both of his batteries. So we tried charging them, and with a good charge, 12.8, 12.9, still had the same issue. I watched the voltage draw on the batteries as he turned the crank, and they would drop from that 12.8 down to 8 volts. So he had plenty of draw. I looked at the starter. Everything's pretty crusted and corroded, so I thought it was the starter at that point. We replaced the starter, still same issue. I verified 12 volts was getting to the starter. Computer showing high and low end are both turning on, being commanded. So then I'm checking resistance on the auxiliary battery, the positive cable running the starter, and I'm getting a lot of ohms of resistance. I'm getting 0 ohms of resistance on the primary battery. And then looking up, I found fairly corroded or possibly corroded positive cables. So I ran a bypass, dedicated 2-gauge cable from the auxiliary battery to the starter. Still same symptom. No change, won't start. What ideas do you have?
8 volts is too low. It's going to be more like 10.5 or 11. So it's definitely losing voltage between the battery and that starter. You've got, and those cables on those, they had some problems with corrosion building up internally in them by the ends that you can't really see unless you cut the casing off at the end. So,
but his bypass cable wouldn't have eliminated that problem?
You would need to, well, they'd have to be as heavy as the factory ones and bolted on solid to both, because if you've got even one spot.
I used 2-gauge. I used 2-gauge braided copper. I bolted on solid, and I cut the original primary from the auxiliary so that it couldn't be short circuiting or going through there.
It sounds like you're trying to cover the bases for sure.
You got all new cables then? You've got new grounds from the batteries and terminals down to the block, and then you've got 2 new hot cables?
No. I only replaced the positive cable from the auxiliary battery. I didn't do grounds.
I would verify them all, because if you've got a voltage drop, you need to find out where it's dropping that voltage. If it's at the starter, if you're going from, you measure from the negative on the starter right at the terminal, not on the cable, right direct center of the terminal, from there to that starter, and then try to crank it. And if it drops down to 8 volts, then go over to the other negative and see where it's at. And then you want to back up in the cable and find out where the voltage drop is. So you're going to hook to the negative and the positive right at the battery and crank it. And if you've got, 10.5 volts there and you've got 8 volts at the starter, it's in that line. Then go to the other battery, do the same thing. You're going to have to measure each piece of wire to that block, because you need both batteries to crank it at full voltage.
Right.
And both grounds and both hots need to be good. So if only one of them is bad out of those 4, it's going to drop.
I gotta bring this story back, because this was you had a lot of story there. There was a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
What was the original problem?
So the original problem was he went to turn it over. He started up like normal. He was getting it warmed up to go plowing, and all of a sudden it turned off. And he's like, that's weird. It was just like a minute or so of warming up. And he went to crank it over again. Nothing. Wouldn't click, wouldn't crank. And then he realized there was a puddle of oil under the vehicle, motor oil.
The puddle of oil is the part I was trying to figure out how that came into the picture.
Yeah, that was the original issue. And when I examined it, it was only coming from the oil filter seal. Like it wasn't on tight enough or it blew the seal. So he replaced the oil filter. He re-topped off the oil, see if it would turn over again. And it's not turned over since then.
There's nothing in that oil filter unless it contaminated the starter or if it had gotten enough oil gone out of it that the engine is actually damaged.
Yeah.
And the starter can't turn it over. But you'd see some major drop right at the starter.
Yeah.
If that was
sure.
the case.
Keegan, what you got to do is you got to go get 3 parts of wire, and then you braid them, and you go left over top, right over, and then you just...
No.
No? All right.
But
good luck. Thanks very much for the call.
We'll say something about this after the break.
866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
Shannon and Russ have spent their whole lives with their heads under the hood, and that's the way they like it. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
866-594-4150. You wanted to come back to this?
Well, I did, because we just kind of recapped in the break there. He was idling, it died. There's a bunch of oil underneath it, and an obvious problem with the oil filter area, the housing or the filter. You just wonder if something more tragic happened. And
how much oil do you have to put in it?
Yeah. And how long, just how long it had been since they had that filter on there, or did a chunk of ice hit it or something? I don't know. Keegan's gone now, right?
No.
He's still there.
You're still there, right?
Keegan, we're trying to zero in on that a little bit more.
I'm here. No, he was avidly using it for plowing. I'd repaired it earlier in the summer. I don't know what you call them, the main power fuses, leaving the primary battery. Those are corroded out. I replaced those, and he got power again, and everything was good. And he was avidly plowing with it this winter. He went to start it up, like I said, and then that happened. So it was pretty sudden, nothing that I know of that he hit. I don't know how much oil he put in. He did that part himself. I'm not sure how much he had actually put back in. I should ask him that. I was curious, is there a sensor that if the computer sees the oil level too low, it would shut itself off to preserve the engine, or does that not exist?
If it's too low, it won't start. Yeah, they've been putting that on
it's already running. If it's actively running and the oil level goes down, is it able to see that and shut off?
There's a number of vehicles that we know that are in accidents and the oil pan gets damaged and they will shut themselves off before they kill the engine.
When they lose oil pressure, yeah.
Yeah, and so...
Does that have to be reset?
Okay.
You can't
or
just
the oil level sensor on the side of the pan. If it's too low, it won't start. But you're having a problem with voltage. It's cranking slow, and you've got low voltage.
Well, but you're not. Sorry, Russ.
No
maybe you heard no crank at all.
Point.
He's got no crank at all.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, just like a no crank at this point, just a click or nothing. There was one time when I first recharged those batteries that we got like a slow crank and then didn't do anything. So at that point, we suspected the batteries.
It sounds like the motor's locked up.
That's what I'm nervous about.
Put a bar on the crank and try to turn it by hand. I bet you won't be able to, because if it's 8 volts and if you're positive you have really good connections on those terminals now, and it's dropping to 8 volts when you hit it and you've put a starter on it, the engine's locked up, so it's not allowing it to turn. It's just like a big toaster down there when you turn that key. Yeah, and that would explain
that's why I was zooming in on that, because the oil and this, what's the chances that both happen at the same time?
Yeah, it may have just locked up.
And it could be that the person running it didn't notice or didn't tell you as soon as. Yeah, there could have been other things happening if it's if it's not their own.
Did they add oil to it after it? Oh, there's a puddle. We better add some oil. No, it's full.
There's things there that I would be checking on. Let's put it that way.
Right. Okay, so I manually verify that the crankshaft actually turns.
That's your next step before you spend any more aggravation.
Right,
because you might find you have major aggravation. You might have major aggravation.
Keegan, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Bert. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Bert, what can we do for you?
Well, this is probably an easy one for you, but I have a Dodge Durango 2005 when when my wife or I put gas in it, the nozzle keeps clicking, and you got to stay outside and fill it. And when it's cold out, it's in South Dakota. It just sits there and keeps putting in a gallon or so, and then it clicks off. When you put the gas thing into where the gas goes in, so it just keeps clicking off, and you got to stand out there and fill the tank.
Yes. And how long has it been doing this?
Well, it was doing it a while back, and then I can't remember what we did. Then it quit doing it. Now it's doing it again. So
We'll do that again.
No distractions in the room whatsoever. The most obvious thing that we have happen quite a bit is the fuel evaporator emission system gets clogged, or is a problem with the check valve, or a problem with the purge valve, and it's not able to vent that tank when you're filling.
Okay.
And it's supposed to release so it can vent as you're putting fluid in, and make sure that there's no problems there. So it's something's broken in that system, and it's like I said, either the canister is the worst case scenario, where that canister gets saturated with raw fuel, and that typically can happen if people are. It can just happen over time, but it also happens if people overfill their tank and don't stop. They keep trying to click in a little extra. You can run raw fuel into the system.
And if you would like more information on this, Bert, you go listen to this episode of the podcast when it comes out, and go back a few minutes, because we just kind of hit on all of this.
You probably didn't catch the similarities, but that Ram pickup call, we were trying to diagnose a similar problem after he had it at the body shop, but it really sounds like the problem is a easy one to fix, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But you just got to have somebody check that system and see if there's any codes for valves or anything. If not, it could just be the purge canister is saturated.
Bert, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Jim. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Jim, what can we do for you?
Hi, I've got an 06 Colorado, and in the heater system, it seems like when I turn it to defrost, it sounds like the door opens like 3/4 of the way and then slams shut. Is that a vacuum-operated system, or is that a motor-operated system?
In 06, that should be a electronic system that uses actuators to move those doors underneath there. And so in that scenario, you can most likely bet that it's probably a problem where one of the doors is probably, the motor's probably getting bad. It tries to turn it. When you say slam, you can hear it, thump, kind of thuds back.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah, it's almost obnoxious.
Yeah, and it's unusual for that particular type of vehicle. We haven't seen a lot of history of them breaking the mechanisms inside the heater box. It's typically related.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's broken.
No, and
Just how it sounds like it just opens 3/4 of the way or whatever, and then loses whatever and slams shut again.
so is that when you're switching between like defrost? Is it the mode control, or is it when you're changing temperatures, or which scenario?
No, it's mode control. It's only when I hit to something that'll have some defrost capability.
Gotcha. Most likely, it's just the actuator that needs to be replaced. And but when you have that off, you can manually move the door just with the nub that sticks out, and just make sure that it moves freely, and it doesn't have any restrictions or problems. Because it does happen at times where things will lodge themselves in there, and it doesn't let them move freely, their full range of motion.
And is it slamming shut to make sure it goes into defrost?
It's probably hitting a certain point, and the motor's saying, I can't do that.
So let me make sure that
I can't do that. I fall back to where it's at. So where's it stuck at?
No, is that? Pardon?
Is it stuck in one position then all the time after it makes the noise?
No. It switches to all positions, but only in the defrost mode. And around here, sometimes you need defrost mode during the winter.
Yeah. Well, and I suppose something could be just getting moisture in it and then hanging up. Is it, if you've been driving it and things are warm and then you go out and jump in it again while it's still fairly warm, does it do the same thing, or is it just when it's cold in the first time?
No, it's all the time when basically, it's all the time whenever you want to try to hit anything on defrost. And my next question is how easy is that to get at? I haven't even bothered to look at it yet. I figured I'd wait till weather warmed up to do anything about it.
From what I remember on that vehicle, there aren't any of those actuators you can't get at without a little bit of contortion with your body. I don't think they have any that require dash removal. Because some of these vehicles, it's crazy that they engineer them that you have to take apart so much to get at them. But I don't think that's the case on that year range of Colorado or Canyon.
If it were me, what I would do is I would wait until the weather got nice, and then I wouldn't need to do it.
And then you wouldn't do it, and you'd have the same problem next fall.
And then next year it would get cold again, and I wouldn't have to do it then because it's too cold. So if you plan this, Jib, you can.
That's what I did this year.
Exactly. See, it's perfect.
Oh, I do think you can get at it, and it'd be a good exercise if you don't want to do it yourself, but have somebody else do it. Just to, if nothing else, remove that motor. Don't run it with don't run the power with it disconnected. Russ has brought that up many times. You'll ruin that little motor. But and then just manually move that door and see what it feels like to the touch.
And then from there, you'll know.
Yeah, maybe there's something sticky in there.
Yeah.
Or,
a leaf that was too thick.
Yeah, something like that.
Got in there. All right, that is going to do it for the Under the Hood Show. Until next time, you can find us at underthehoodshow.com. If you miss an episode, don't forget, you can always find us wherever you get your podcasts, and we've added a whole back catalog more in, so if you listen to them all, you can go back and listen to more. And you can watch the show at our YouTube channel. We'd love to have you there, too. Thanks for listening to the Under the Hood Show. All right, no after show today.
No,
we got to go, man.
I do have to go, but I do have to tell you that's the first time that we've had Russ storm out of the studio. but on the way out, he does a dip kiss with his wife.
Yeah, that was and it was not caught on camera because we were talking. So
I think he wanted it to be a PDA.
The cameras did not pick it up.
He wanted it to be a PDA.
I think so,
but he didn't succeed at that.
No, he didn't. Well, there's always next time.
Michelle was surprised.
Next week, you two can do it.